Hello, I'm Carolyn Holzman, and this is Confessions of an SEO. Our time together is about 15 minutes, give or take. Now, on the surface, this isn't going to sound like it's an SEO podcast. There are no interviews. Okay, well, there was one, but in 5 years, one is statistically not relevant. So you don't need to take notes because it's not about hacks or clever way to hit on that FOMO part of our SEO brain. What I've come to understand is that while I have spent close to 17 years in SEO, I don't sit on my laurels or put my feet up and act like an executive SEO. I'm in the Google trenches every day, rain or shine. So in the world of SEO testing, there are no sacred cows. So put on your smock, watch where you step, and let's get started. Welcome to Season 5, Episode 43 of Confessions. Today, I'm going to explore the sandbox of topical authority for normal people. Thank you to Ahrefs to being the sponsor of this episode. Win brand visibility in AI search and beyond with Ahrefs Brand Radar. It's different from other answer engine optimization tools. You can get a 360-degree view of your brand. You can get real data, not synthetic prompts. Ahrefs uses their 110 billion, that's with a B, keyword database. And they use actual questions, and people also ask data instead of what a lot of competitors do, which is rely on AI-generated prompts. So you go beyond branded terms. You can monitor real-time visibility across entities such as topics, products, regions, and categories. So check out Ahrefs Brand Radar feature, and remember, it's always free to get started with Ahrefs. Pick the plan that works best for you. Last week, I talked about my first baptism by fire when a domain is held hostage. It's called Let the Games Begin. Now, you can always find the most recent episode on confessionsofanseo.com. Please subscribe to Confessions on whatever platform you get your podcasts. It's a great way to both support Confessions and help others find it. Okay, so getting back to today's topic, some of you might have gotten a little uncomfortable because when conversations get going on topical authority, it's very easy for things to turn into a dry, big word, excruciating demonstration, so high level of a conversation that you just want to pass out from the lack of oxygen. Basically, the reason this is so is because all of us are pulling from the same dry documents like Google Patents and the leaked API document, which is full of words that are put together, and you got to figure out why. What does that mean? So it's like learning another language. These are meaty documents that defy cutting them up into smaller, digestible pieces. But today, you are lucky. Now, this foray into topical authority didn't just drop down from the sky. There's an SEO from Scotland. His name is Shaun Anderson. He's a software development guy with a lot of SEO tools. The way I know him is from his Google spreadsheet application, Hobo SEO Dashboard. Now, that particular one aims to save SEO professionals significant time and effort by automating a lot of SEO data collection and analysis and reporting, especially if you have more than one site you're trying to manage, and does it within a private spreadsheet environment. And here's the part I like about it most, without any ongoing fees. Now, I'll put a link to where you can check those out in the description. Now, lately, Shaun has been pushing out articles and content about topical authority, going through the leaked Google documentation API back in 2024. And in my opinion, he's got most of it right. But there's a little tweaking around the verbiage, and I'm going to be doing some of that here. But there's nothing I haven't said as much to him directly. And this is very collegial stuff. So there's respect going in both directions. And I think both of us are after the same thing, making things understandable and a little more precise. Now he's going through patents and the leaked documents to connect these dots to develop clarity. Where I go through all this is I connect the dots from what I see in the SERPs. So it's the opposite direction, but we kind of meet in the middle where we start to make sense. So if you have a minute or two, you would definitely enjoy reading what he's saying and, of course, following him on Twitter. I'll put a lot of links in here about where you can find things. Now, I'd like to focus on a tweet that he posted last week. I'm going to quote first, and then I'll let you know what I'm thinking. Topical authority is measured algorithmically. The Google leak reveals topical authority is now a mathematical score. Site focus score measures your niche dedication, while site radius penalizes content that strays off topic. This is at the heart of how close I see Shaun's conclusions are to my analysis of the data. Now, as many of you know, I've been down the helpful content rabbit hole for a long, long time. I think based on the research data that I published in my helpful content analysis, that topical authority and topical cohesion are two different things. Now, here again, this is an example of you put two words together, you understand them separately, but why are they put together, right? So welcome to my world. Based on the data and the web developer contents, topical cohesion on one domain is measured algorithmically. The data confirms it. The leaked documents confirm it. And the fact that the site reputation abuse penalty has to be manually enforced kind of validates it, right? You've got an algorithmic applied measurement. And if you can't do it on every site, it directly validates the fact that it is algorithmic and it's applied to pretty much sites that are not news sites. Now, topical cohesion is how I describe the collection of your pages. When measured against each other, are they topically or mathematically on the same, not page, because they're separate pages, but you know what I mean. Are they related mathematically? Can you make the case that they're close to each other mathematically? Now, previously, I've remarked on how individual page analysis, which is so baked into our SEO work, it kind of makes us myopic that a page on its own is the only way Google judges it. For years, we could rank pages on the same domain, but they could be all different topics. But not once helpful content got through with us. So I'm going to go back to Shaun's observation. I'm going to change some of the words a little bit, but I'm going to change it because I think this is more of what we're talking about. Topical cohesion is measured algorithmically. The Google leak reveals topical cohesion is now a mathematical score. Site focus measures the majority of the major of your pages as a collective whole, while site radius penalizes content that strays off topic. And now I'm going to add at the end, site radius penalizes content which represents even too many pages on the same topic. I won't bore you with it, but let's just say hashtag table of content links. Now, based on data and site performance drops after various helpful content updates, you guys know I believe there is no such thing as helpful content. So there's no such thing as you can't put more helpful content on your site. You can put topical content on your site, but you can't put helpful content on your site. So helpful content in my definition, is technically the only thing left after the unhelpful or topically static or repetitive is suppressed. The off-topic pages, the multiple pages that answer the same query, even though they are using different individual keyword phrases, they're still answering the same question. So too many pages like that is as bad as being off topic. So if topical cohesion is a domain-specific assessment, how is it different from topical authority? Okay, so we know measuring anything does require a minimum of 2 points, right? Distance, the starting point to a destination, and where you're going. So that's 2 location points, and then you can do something. So topical cohesion requires multiple points, but they are all on the same domain. By itself, a domain cannot exercise authority from its own page. It requires validation signals, which come from multiple sources. But topical authority, as best I can observe, is not something that can get added into the content on a page or pages of a site. Now, John Mueller said something about this at a Search Central Live in New York, that EAT, E-E-A-T, expertise, and the other E, authority and trust, isn't something that can be added to websites. Now, that is not the same thing as saying it can't be measured. So consider this. Just ponder this. If you write a piece on, let's say, genetics on your genetics website, and someone with a Chrome profile, and this is where I'm going to reference histograms. If you don't know what those are, it's little bits of data that contain the full history of all the pages that a person visited. And because of that, Google has tracked all of those things and provided to that particular visitor what they probably call some sort of topical score. And if they have gone to a lot of genetic sites, let's say they have a topical score high on genetics because of all the sites they visit. So when a visitor like that visits your genetic site, that visit from that one person just added some score to your site that Google now interprets as, now you are a more trusted authority on that topic because somebody who they know seems to know about that topic spent some time on your site. And Google even said it in the DOJ trial that they don't read content. They rely on the people who visit the site to send the signals to help them confirm the topical nature of the page. Likely, that means in the real world, it validates what Google may have surmised by your page's permanent record that they keep, along with your, header tags and all your little keywords and your entities and everything. And that visit validates your page in a way that is difficult to emulate or fake. So topical authority, logically, has to be a measurement between different collections of domains. And I'd go so far as to say that we probably have, that measurement may include some ratio of topical cohesion. And the people with Chrome profiles that visit them, which contain obviously a topical interest score, that validates the authority, the topical authority of those sites. I definitely appreciate and applaud the work that Shaun has done to provide some additional layers of understanding on that leak of Google's internal content warehouse API documentation. That's why I just say the leak. You can he put this all together in a PDF, and it's a Hobo SEO quadrilogy, and you can download it from his site. That link is going to be in the description. I hope that you do take some time and download that, and you can even follow him on Twitter and read some of the things that he's talking about, because it sometimes doesn't matter the words if you're describing the same event, right? Like a rose is a rose is a rose. I love this conversation. I'm excited in no small way, obviously, that as time goes by, we can and we do validate each other's work for the betterment of our industry and our understanding, and leave a body of work that reflects, or I guess which shows that some of us are sort of paying it forward for others. So please check out Shaun Anderson's information and his documents and PDFs. That's it for me this week. Thank you for being a listener. If you have questions or comments about today's topic, you can reach out and text Confessions at 512-222-3132. To get my analysis, you can Google Carolyn Holzman, Google's helpful content system. If you do that, you will find that in the first couple of results. Indexzilla is my indexer tool. You can find it at indexzilla.io. Now more than ever, AI makes the indexation of your content into Google essential. Don't leave it to chance. Thanks again to Ahrefs for sponsoring this episode. Measure your brand's growth and gauge your brand awareness and momentum. Thank you for listening, and until next week, I'll see you in the SERPs.